gaming is ready to bring back their ace game, and Nintendo their upcoming Nintendo Switch games at E3 2021 after E3 last year was cancelled for obvious reasons. It may only be digital, but Nintendo was among the first confirmed to join, and it is unlikely that Nintendo will be holding back, as they have to deliver big this year, just like they did during their E3 2019 Nintendo Direct.
3 of them. That's the best game. Oh my god! Bob and chat, good call.
Yes, it's likely to be that big, especially if the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild shows up again. After all, we've been promised more footage from the game later this year. Well, that, and combined with the fact that this is the year of big anniversaries, and we already know that there will be plenty of Pokémon and Zelda, and perhaps also some Metroid, and maybe even Donkey Kong. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell, as by doing so, you can be among the 300k who could be qualified to enter our big Switch Pro giveaway. Also, as you already heard, the voiceover lord from our timeline videos, Jason Dameron, will be helping me out with a number of the games, so enjoy, as we start with none other than the game that will likely be shown again since it comes out exactly 10 days after E3 2021 is over, Mario Golf Super Rush. And our greatest hope for this title is that it isn't super rushed. Joking aside, Mario Golf has always been one of the greatest golf simulators out there, with great depth, knowledge of the sport, and all of that wrapped in a fun Mario experience with all our favorite characters, including the only playable in Mario sports titles, Waluigi.
Wow! Hey there!
Yes, that render is absolutely glorious, and with Joy-Con motion controls bringing back the glorious Wii Sports golf days, new modes like the frenetic Mario Kart-like Speed Golf, and an in-depth RPG story mode from Rookie to Golf Master, this Mario Golf game is likely going to be a quality experience that is perfect for everyone who wants to experience the sensation of golfing without the need of going outdoors and paying high fees to play, and also qualify for certain cut requirements. And if there's one thing that is certain, then it is that this game will offer a ton of fun before we enter July.
The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, the Zelda 25th anniversary game, which gave us the official Zelda timeline and its first quest. It also laid out the foundations of the later Kingdom of Hyrule, the House of Hyrule, and the many Zeldas and Links that we have followed throughout the Zelda series. And for its 10th anniversary, on Friday, July 16th, it will finally be brought up to the resolution and frame rate that this game deserves. It may be one of the most polarizing Zelda titles, as it lacks proper free roam exploration, suffers from backtracking issues, and motion controls that didn't work all the time on the Wii. Well, the last of these three has already been addressed by Nintendo by offering as a right D-pad option, as otherwise this game would have been near unplayable on the Nintendo Switch Lite. And it is likely that the motion controls will be better, as that is one of the reasons why we are getting the first made by Nintendo Zelda-themed Joy-Cons. At the same time, there are many reasons to be excited, as this game offers one of, if not the best, Zelda stories, some of the best dungeons and boss fights in the entire franchise. July 16 will mark for the return of a classic, and help during the wait for the 20th installment in the Legend of Zelda series. The sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which we will soon get back to, it is likely that both it and Skyward Sword HD will be presented by Nintendo at E3 2021 at the same time.
First, let's go over some other games with confirmed release windows in the second half of 2021, aka more or less Nintendo E3 confirmed games. And here we find another long anticipated and revealed E3 2019 game, No More Heroes 3, which is coming on Friday, August 27. Since Travis Touchdown is back for another mainline adventure, 11 years after desperate struggle. And based on what we have seen, it looks like things are back to normal. Travis being an egotistic but at the same time charismatic Tom Bass, who's ready to once again be manipulated by the now legendary Sylvia and work hard to fight regular and more extraterrestrial opponents. That's right, aliens. And they're a real threat who are ready to mess things up. My only concerns for the game that will turn No More Heroes into a trilogy are the art style and performance, as the game isn't exactly the prettiest. Hopefully the rest will be up to or beyond the crazy standards that this mature franchise has set, as it will likely close out August. Most likely we'll just see another trailer, and maybe even a digital demo during the E3 weekend. Here is hoping. And just like that, we have covered the big games with specific release dates. In other words, it is very likely that E3 2021 will extend this list, as when we entered E3 2019 we had some more release dates beyond August, like Pokémon Sword and Shield, but their November 15, 2019 release date was first confirmed a few days before E3 when I was in Kyoto. But before that, the game was targeted for a late 2019 release. And you know what is confirmed for a late 2021 release? Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the long-awaited remakes of Gen 4 Pokémon Diamond and Pearl, and maybe a little bit of Platinum. The second half of November appears to be a very likely window for the remakes, which originals are considered to be some of the best Pokémon games of all time, with a brilliant region, Sinnoh, our real-life Hokkaido, its cities, and the majestic Mount Coronet. Legendary Pokémon that tie to the creation story of the Pokémon universe, a true champion, and so much more that makes this installment an adventure to remember. Many have been underwhelmed by the overworld chibi art style of the remake, which translates the original sprites into 3D with mixed results. Hopefully, some issues like lack of character borderlines and outlines to the characters we battle will be addressed before the release, and maybe even already at E3. It is just that this remake is not developed by Game Freak, but Ilka, who has extensive experience but has only worked on Pokémon Home in the Pokémon series before this so anticipated remake.
Hopefully, they will deliver during this 25th anniversary of Pokémon. After all, they don't want to face the wrath of the Pokémon fanbase in October or November and leave even more pressure on Game Freak and Pokémon Legends Arceus in early 2022. Though before we move open to the open world leap for the Pokémon franchise, let's focus on some other franchises that celebrate their big anniversaries this year and might also be celebrated during E3 2021. The oldest of these is the 40-year-old Donkey Kong. Who could see possibly a new 2D title made by a different developer than Retro Studios? The experienced insider Zippo has pointed to the 3D Mario team, but I am not fully convinced as they just finished working on Bowser's Fury. It goes without saying that Retro Studios is busy with Metroid Prime 4. It will also not make it in time for the 35th anniversary of the Metroid franchise, but something else could, namely a new 2D Metroid by Mercury Stream, as rumored by Zippo. A remake of Super Metroid, much like Samus Returns in 2017, which was also made by Mercury Stream, and some sort of Metroid Prime HD collection. Not sure if they would call it a trilogy this time though, as we have Metroid Prime 4 far there on the horizon. Nevertheless, we can all agree that the time for anything Metroid is in order after 4 years of nothing and more to come before Metroid Prime 4. A first look at the game itself at E3 2021 would be great. But do you know what would be beyond it?
This coupled with the reveal and confirmation of a new or remade Metroid title during this 35th anniversary. September, much like Samus Returns in 2017, is a possibility and leaves us October and December to still fill out. No doubt, one of the two mentioned months could be a third-party month, or who knows, maybe even Bayonetta 3 that could make a mighty return at this E3 after being absent since December 2017. The same goes for Hollow Knight Silksong, or it could mark for a brand new Mario Party or even Kirby title, as both Super Mario Party and Kirby Star Allies came out in 2018. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is also still confirmed for a 2021 release, and is likely to get a proper first gameplay trailer at E3, after the tease of the story and setting in 2020. The more wanted franchise to have a new installment in 2021 is The Legend of Zelda, which we have been waiting for a brand new game since early 2017, and it wouldn't really surprise me if we end 2021 with a bang and the release of the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. With no new footage for 2 years, it will cause outrage among many if we don't see this game at E3. As for one, it would mean that it will not be slated for a 2021 Zelda 35th anniversary release, and secondly, that we are forced to call this title the sequel or Breath of the Wild 2 for even longer. Hopefully, this will not be the case, and that Breath of the Wild sequel will, much like E3 itself, make its triumphant return after 2 years of absence. Not only that, but also bring a new trailer which showcases gameplay and lengthy treehouse gameplay sessions, much like with Breath of the Wild during E3 2016. The show is digital this year, so no physical demos of the game will exist, and it is very likely that there will be no digital demos as well due to the danger of data mines. But would the sequel at E3 2021 overshadow Skyward Sword HD? Possibly. But it also depends on the way you market it. Since if you connect the two titles somehow through marketing when it comes to story and content, it could actually boost the sale of the remake instead of dooming them. And answer the most important questions, like what is the official and final title of this so anticipated Zelda game, especially after Breath of the Wild shattered all past Zelda records?
How will the green hand impact Link's right arm and the controls and gameplay we're used to? Will short-haired Zelda be our companion who follows us, or could she actually be playable? Is ancient Sheikah technology gone from the open air and caused a replacement of the map, runes, and so on? Will there be proper dungeons this time? And obviously, where is Hyrule Castle and Ganondorf heading upon his resurrection? We have been waiting 2 years for answers since the E3 2019 Nintendo Direct and the first look of this title. E3 2021 and Nintendo's presence there hints towards a mighty return of Breath of the Wild sequel, and since it is Zelda's 35th anniversary, then we wouldn't be surprised if the 20th official The Legend of Zelda game will get an early December 2021 release date at E3 2021. Who knows, maybe coupled with an ultimate Nintendo Switch model which might or might not be simultaneously revealed at E3, making it the first E3 since 2011 when Nintendo reveals brand new hardware at E3. 10 years, you say? And that was 2021. Usually during E3 Directs, Nintendo focuses primarily on the second half of the year in question. Nevertheless, 2021 is different, as 2020 caused the delay of multiple games across the gaming industry, hence why many games will slip out of 2021 to 2022. Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel might be one of these, though there are others which since February are already firmly placed in 2022. Those being Pokémon Legends Arceus, Splatoon 3, and Square Enix's Project Triangle Strategy. Let's begin with Pokémon Legends Arceus, the prequel story Pokémon title taking place before any mainline games. Set in the early era of industrialization in Japan.
As a blend and celebration of the Pokémon franchise, it features starters from multiple generations of the franchise, specifically Gen 7, Gen 2 and Gen 5, steam-powered wooden Pokeballs, and what is more important, full dual analog camera controls. Still, what we saw during the Pokémon 25th anniversary presentation was limited, and with an early 2022 release, and as the first open-world Pokémon title, it should be a prime candidate to have an important role to play for Nintendo at E3, with showcasing new battle mechanics and more means of traversal. Or wouldn't Legends Arceus overshadow the Gen 4 remakes? Not necessarily, as the remakes got more attention following their reveals than the brand new game. And besides, much like in the case of Breath of the Wild 2 and Skyward Sword HD, one could promote sales of the other, meaning that both are likely to be showcased at E3, since the remakes are scheduled for late 2021, most likely in November, and Legends Arceus for an early 2022 release, most likely between February and April. Very close to each other, and thus it makes sense to deliver new trailers but also treehouse gameplay sessions for both, as just like is the case with Zelda, there will be no physical demos due to E3 being digital only. Then we have Splatoon 3 and Square Enix Project Triangle Strategy, which could easily end up as summer games in June, July or August 2022, and this might result in the games skipping E3 as they are not needed there to the same degree as the anniversary franchises. And we also need to remember that some games that have been revealed in the previous Direct usually tend to skip the next Directs. Still, there's always the possibility that these two big Nintendo exclusives could be there, as they would definitely add value to Nintendo's range of E3 2021 games. So who knows? The probability for them being present is lower than for the games we have mentioned above, as they might also get proper physical showcases and demos at E3 2022.
Last but not least, we should not exclude the first-party reveals Nintendo could bring, as E3 2017 had Metroid Prime 4, 2018 Super Mario Party, and 2019 the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Hence, one or two brand new first-party Nintendo Switch titles could be revealed. We have already mentioned a new Mario Party based on the 3-year release cycle this franchise follows, and Kirby, but I would also like to bring up two other franchises that we will explore in depth in future videos. 2D Mario, since the next 3D Mario game will not come out in 2021 and seems to be ready at the earliest in late 2022, as the Mario team was busy with Bowser's Fury. The last 2D Mario was on the Wii U and the Switch port of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe has sold over 10 million copies since its release in early 2019.
Then we have Mario Kart 9, which depends on so many factors that we need to cover it in a separate video. The same goes also for Monolith Soft's next game, which is very likely to be a new medieval fantasy IP based on the concepts that Monolith posted a few years back. maybe even a Fire Emblem remake of Genealogy of the Holy War as suggested by Zippo once again. And that covers it for our first E3 2021 video. Do you agree with our thoughts on list of games? Or do you think something is missing and that we should cover it in our future videos? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, be sure to like and share the video, subscribe and press the notification bell to not miss our upcoming E3 2021 videos and qualify for our big 300,000 subscribers giveaway. Finally, a big thanks goes to Jason Damron for joining me in this video, and to our patreon.com/CommonRail patrons, and in particular to our royal producer Charles Shash. And please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.